Good morning, students. Um, this is Dr. Bindu here. I'll be taking a new topic today, that is regulation of gene expression in prokaryotes. Sunil Illera. So students, please mute yourself. If anything you want to tell me, please unmute and tell me. I hope you all can hear me, and I hope you are all safe at home. Okay. So let's start the class. These are the specific learning objectives, that is state the importance of regulation of gene expression, that is significance, then discuss the types of gene regulation in prokaryotes, then explain gene expression in prokaryotes, giving example of lac operon, and then explain the concept of intron, exon, cistron, and gene. I think you've already read about intron, existron, and gene. I'll be telling for the classes. So you know what is an intron? Introns are a non-coding regions in a gene and which are present in between the coding genes, which are called as. And these introns make more than 50% of the gene. And the exact function of intron is it could facilitate the alternative splicing of mRNA so that many proteins can be formed from a single gene. Before going to gene expression, students, you should know a term known as gene. What is a genome? Genome is nothing but it refers to total genetic information which is present in a cell. So it contains, and this genome contains thousands of genes, right? And this genome, it is very interesting to know that only a tiny portion of the genome is converted into proteins in case of eukaryotes. Whereas in case of prokaryotes, majority of the gene is converted to protein. So what I mean is synthesis of protein under the influence of gene is called as gene expression. So what is the definition of gene expression? That is, gene is expressed when it is transcribed to RNA, then when it is then translated to protein. So the end product of gene expression is protein. And remember that all the genes of the cell are not expressed all the time. So what is the use of this gene expression as? The proteins are formed whenever they are required. That is the main use of gene expression. Again, I'll tell you in detail what is the name of gene. So you know the definition of gene expression. So in simple terms, synthesis of gene under the end product of gene is expressed at protein. Yeah, this is the diagram. So the gene type is what I have replaced the gene is protein. In protein. In it alters
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
Are you, what about other students? Now can you hear me? Now am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Now I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, but the voice is breaking.
Here the network is pretty fine. I think you need to change a place because here network is showing fine. And my other colleague also is able to hear. He's in the other room. I think some network issue with you. What about the other students? Can you hear me? One or two students can unmute yourself and let me know.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I can hear you, but the voice is breaking, ma'am.
But the network is pretty fine here. Okay, just hold on, just hold on. Now can you hear me? Now
ma'am.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll come close to the mic then. Right? Now is it fine?
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
is it fine? Okay,
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. So please unmute yourself. Sorry, mute yourself. Okay. Now coming to significance of gene expression. That means what is the importance of gene expression? Why at all it has to take place? First thing is adaptation. It will help the organism to adapt to the environmental changes by altering the gene expression. What do I mean by that? As in, this bacteria is quite highly versatile. This can synthesize any protein which is required to thousandfold in response to the nutrients, or if the nutrient is present in the medium, and when if it is required, the synthesis of protein can be increased to thousand. That is by altering the gene expression in multicellular organisms like us. That is when we are exposed to growth factors or hormones. Again, there will be change in shape of growth rate or other characteristics. That's what it means. Basically, it adapt. That means we are able to adapt to the environmental changes by altering the gene expression. That's what it means. And it also is required for the normal function. And also required for tissue thickness development. What do I mean by that? Please remember, organisms contain different cell types, but they have the same gene. The cells, suppose a nerve cell and a muscle cell, they differ in morphology, structure, character, but they have the same gene. Why? That is because of different gene. Another example is better. Insulin gene. Take example of this insulin gene and they are cell of the organ. But it is secreted pancreas. Pancreas. Right? But for can you hear me now? One or two students, please unmute yourself and let me know. Can you hear me now? Students? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, but your voice is breaking.
Let me try with the earphone. Earphone hakolla. Breaking. Just hold on,
Yes,
students. I'll just put the earphone and let me try. Students, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Can I continue?
Ma'am, we can hear you now. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, finally. Okay. So the significance of gene expressions are four in number. That is adaptation, maintaining the metabolic function, then tissue differentiation, growth, and development. Is it clear? Um, and also one more important thing here is this gene product. Remember, the gene product is always a protein. So this is synthesized according to the need of the body. So that is why gene expression has to be regulated. What do I mean by that? That is, the genes for metabolizing enzymes are expressed only in presence of nutrients. So if the enzymes are not needed, then it is the enzymes are not synthesized. That means genes are turned off. So this allows the conservation of the cell sources. So this is another important significance of gene expression. So gene product is formed or protein is formed when it is required. If it is not required, it is not formed. So when it is required, gene is turned on, what we call it as. If it is not required, gene is turned off. Is it clear? So these are some of the significance of gene expression. Now, we have all till now told what is gene expression. We have discussed what is the significance of gene expression. Now let us see where it is regulated or controlled. So, and previous slide I have told you the gene regulation is at the level of transcription in prokaryotes, whereas in eukaryotes it's pretty complex. It is not so simple as in prokaryotes. It occurs in many levels, starting from chromatin stage to end of post-translational stage, which I'll be talking about during regulation gene expression in eukaryotes. Now, there is a lot of differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic gene expression. As I told you, gene expression is pretty simple, whereas eukaryotic gene expression is pretty complex. So I'll be telling why it is complex in eukaryote and what are the differences when I talk about regulation of gene expression in eukaryote. Before going to regulation, you need to know a few things. There are two types of genes which we talk about during gene expression. One constitutive genes or also known as housekeeping genes. Why you call it as housekeeping genes are these genes are expressed always in all cells, irrespective of any cell condition. That is why we call it as housekeeping gene and it is not under any regular. For example, enzymes of glycolysis. These are required throughout, isn't it? So that is why the genes for enzymes of glycolysis are always expressed at all the time. Condition. Coming to next is inducible gene or non-cause or regulated because these genes are expressed whenever the products are required. Unlike your constitutive genes are expressed only, I mean it is expressed all the time. So inducible gene is expressed only when it is under condition and it is expressed only when it is required. That is why the name is gene. And it is very different. Constitutive genes are expressed always, whereas inducible genes are expressed when required. The genes are third one. Constitutive genes does not require inducer or production of like time the gene Student, can you hear me? Yes. Somebody wants to tell me something?
Ma'am, the first 2 minutes it'll be fine. Again, it's going back to normal. It's getting cut again. Every 2 minutes, the same problem happens.
Okay.
Maybe the mic, maybe the network, we don't know. But a lot of us are facing the same problem. It gets cut after like 2 minutes after just 2 minutes after resolving it.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Um, uh, 1 minute. I'll shift the place. Let me try. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, uh, just increase your volume. Ma. I can't hear you. Hello?
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. It's just
Hello?
getting cut little bit. We can hear you. It's getting cut little bit, and after some time, the cutting just increases.
Can you hear me now, Ma?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now.
Okay, so can I continue now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you can't hear me, please again let me know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Okay.
coming to the types of regulation, um, two types are there. That is positive regulation. So the name itself suggests positive as in, so gene expression is increased by the presence of some regulatory element or which is known as positive regulator or activator. So when expression of genetic information is increased by presence of this positive regulator, it is called as positive regulation. And when the expression of genetic information is diminished due to the presence of uh, again a regulator, which decreases the genetic expression, it's called as the negative regulator, and the expression is negative. And sorry, the regulation is negative regulation. So positive regulation, there is increased gene expression. Negative regulation, there is decreased gene expression or gene silencing. Now, coming to the responses in gene expression, there are three types of responses. So type A is known as this type of response is seen when when there is a continuous presence of the signal. If the signal is removed, the gene expression comes to its basal level, and if the amount repeatedly increases in response to reappearance of the signal. So if the signal is there, gene expression takes place. If the signal is removed, the gene expression comes to basal level. So this is commonly seen in prokaryotes in response to changes in intracellular concentration of nutrient, and in eukaryotes we see when we are exposed to inducers like steroid hormones or growth factors. So this is the curve, which is a response, which is seen only in presence of a signal. Now, type B response is seen even though the signal is there, the response is transient. The amount of gene expression is transient in presence of the signal. This is as in, if the signal is terminated, the cell is allowed to, I'll show you the cell is allowed to recover. Again, the second transient response is seen after, again, the signal is present. Again, if there is a signal. So here the response is transient. And this is commonly seen during the development of an organism when only the transient appearance of specific gene product is required. Is it clear? Coming to type C response, here there is expression of the genes even after the termination of signal. So this expression of gene is initiated, and once it is initiated, it cannot be terminated, and it is irreversible, and it is an inherited thing. So it is seen during development of differentiated, it is seen during the development of differentiated function in a tissue or a organ. So this is the graph. So the response persists even in the absence of signal. So type A response is seen when the response is seen when there is signal, and the signal is not there, response stops. Whereas type B, even in spite of the signal, that response is transient. And whereas type C, even after termination of the signal or if the absence of the signal, it is even the gene expression is carried on. Now coming to actual gene regulation, how exactly it takes place. That is explained by a operon concept. Students, can you hear me? Students?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Students, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Hello? Okay. Now, the scientists proposed a operon concept to explain how the genes are regulated in prokaryotes. That is where the operon concept has come into picture. So in prokaryotes, they have a very simple mechanism to explain the gene regulation. So to understand the gene regulation, the scientists proposed a operon concept. So what is it? It is the gene involving in a metabolic pathway are present in a linear array, and that is called operon. So they are in a linear fashion. The genes which has to be expressed are present in a linear array, and it is called as operon. The example includes lac operon. This lac operon, lac means lactose. So lac operon is there for the regulation of metabolism. Now, before going to operon concept, you should understand the term cistron. What is cistron? It is the smallest unit of gene expression. ಇದೇನೋ ಇದು ಯುವರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತೀಯಾ? ಅಲ್ಲ ನಾನ್ the cistron is the smallest unit of gene expression. So what is cistron? The gene which gives us mRNA and which is later on translated to protein. So the gene which is translated to protein is called as cistron. Let us see what exactly it means. See, first in earlier, they used to say one gene and one enzyme concept, but no more it is there now because some of the enzymes or some of the proteins have more than one polypeptide chain. As a result, because some of the enzymes and protein molecules are composed of two or more subunits, now they change the concept of one cistron and one subunit. So the sequence of DNA that codes for a subunit of protein molecule is the basic unit of gene expression, and that is called cistron. So the DNA sequence which codes for a single subunit of a protein is the basic unit of gene expression, and it is called as cistron. Is it clear? Now, when we talk about cistron, you should know the concept of polycistron and monocistron because these two terms will come across when we are dealing with regulation of gene expression. Now, what do you mean by polycistron? The name itself suggests poly means many. So that means the one mRNA can be translated to more than one protein. So that type of mRNA is called as polycistronic mRNA. So prokaryotic genes produces polycistronic mRNA. Now coming to monocistronic mRNA, as in monocistronic mRNA means this mRNA, a single mRNA can give only one protein or it can encode only one protein. So that is example is eukaryotic genes. So eukaryotic genes can encode only a single protein. So did you understand? So polycistronic and monocistronic. So polycistronic means that mRNA can encode more than one protein. Monocistronic means the mRNA can encode only one protein. Now let us come to the actual lac operon concept. So this lac operon model was proposed by a great scientist known as Jacob and Monod. They are the one who gave this operon concept, and this operon concept, as I told you, is was developed to make us understand how exactly the gene regulation takes place, right? So the gene regulation in prokaryotes was extensively studied in E. coli. So they studied the regulation of gene expression in E. coli. So it was based on observation of regulation of lactose metabolism by E. coli. How lactose was metabolized in E. coli was, so the lac operon is nothing but a coordinated unit of genetic expression in bacteria. So to make the enzymes necessary to metabolize lactose, as in, so the E. coli, that is the lac operon, will be expressed, or the genetic expression is promoted, yeah, to make or to synthesize the enzymes necessary to metabolize lactose. You will understand this sentence better when I deal with actual lac operon, how exactly lac operon operates. Is it clear? Now let us see what are the components of lac operon. Okay, the components of lac operon are regulator gene, promoter, and there are three sites. One is regulator gene and three sites, that is promoter site, operator site, and cap site. And next, lastly, a set of structural genes. So it contains two types of genes, that is regulator gene, structural genes, and three sites, that is promoter site, operator site, and cap site. Now let us see what each component does, or what is the function of each. Now regulatory gene is very important. The name itself suggests that it regulates the lac operon, or it regulates the structural gene. So it produces a protein known as repressor protein. Next, coming to operator site. This operator site is a place where this repressor protein, which is produced or which is synthesized by regulatory gene, binds there. So this repressor protein goes and binds to operator site, and once this repressor protein goes and binds to operator site, the initiation of transcription is blocked. See the name itself, repressor protein. So it represses the transcription. Coming to next site, one was operator site. Next is catabolite activator protein binding site, as in cap site. What binds there? In this site, CRP or cyclic AMP regulatory protein binds, as in this CRP or cyclic AMP protein is nothing but a complex of cyclic AMP and catabolite activator protein. So in cap site, CRP or cyclic AMP regulatory protein binds, as in cyclic AMP and cap complex, or also known as cyclic AMP regulatory protein, binds in cap site. Is it clear? In promoter site, RNAP or RNA polymerase binds in promoter site. Once it binds, there is initiation of transcription. Coming to the next one is structural genes. There are three in number, Z, Y, A, and this three genes encodes three enzymes or three proteins, that is beta galactosidase enzyme, which actually hydrolyzes lactose to glucose and galactose. Then there is second enzyme, galactoside permease enzyme, which is responsible for transport of lactose into the cell. And the last enzyme, transacetylase, which the function is not known. So these structural genes, that is ZYA, three enzymes are required for the metabolism of lactose. Now let us see. Now we know the components. What are the components? Regulatory gene, three sites. That is operator site, promoter site, cap site, and the last one is structural gene. So two genes: regulatory gene, structure gene, three sites: operator site, promoter site, and cap site. Now let us see. Again, this I have put it in a tabular column. LAC-I is nothing but regulatory gene, which constantly synthesize LAC repressor protein. LAC-Z is a gene for beta galactosidase enzyme, which hydrolyzes lactose. And then LAC-Y is gene for permease, the enzyme name only, permease. So it permeates the lactose into the cell. That is, it helps in transport of lactose into the LAC-A is the gene for transacetylase, which the function is not known. Then we have promoter or P site for binding of RNAP and initiates transcription. And then operates where, so it's better you also students practice writing the components in a tabular column. Now this is how the diagram, and you must practice the diagram because this is self-explanatory where it is located, and the function and how it operates you need to write. Now coming to each one, how exactly, again I'll tell what is the function and how exactly it operates. Coming from the structural genes. So structural genes in bacteria, there are three in number, ZYA, which are transcribed to give a single polycistronic mRNA. So that is why I told you there are two types of mRNA. Polycistronic, the name itself, poly as in, it can encode more than one protein. So this is called as polycistronic mRNA. So it can encode more than one protein. Which are those proteins? These proteins, that is, or enzyme, that is beta galactosidase, permease, and transacetylase. So this structural gene is under the control of regulatory gene, because if regulatory gene synthesize repressor protein, then this transcription of the structural gene cannot take place. I'll tell you exactly how. Now coming to next to the now the structural gene, I told you it encodes three enzymes: galactosidase, permease, and transacetylase. Next to structural gene is three sites, that is operator site, where your repressor protein, which is synthesized by our regulatory gene, goes and binds there. So it binds here in operator site. If it binds, then there is no initiation of transcription. Next, coming to promoter site. So next to operator site is promoter site, where the enzyme RNA polymerase binds. As a result, there is initiation of transcription. Next to the promoter site is our cap site. So here I told you there is a binding of CRP or cyclic AMP regulator protein, which is nothing but a complex of cyclic AMP and catalytic activator protein. And coming to the next to cap site is our regulatory gene, which I already told you, it is synthesized and constantly it synthesizes repressor protein. Now, how it operates? How exactly this lac operon operates? Two things. So this gene is maximally expressed when the O site is empty, as in if this repressor protein does not bind to O site, that is number one. And secondly, the cap site is bound by our CRP or cyclic AMP catabolite activator protein complex. If these two takes place, that is, if repressor protein does not bind in operator site or operator site is empty, number one. Secondly, if CRP is not bound to cap site, then the RNAP will go and bind to promoter site. There is expression of this structural gene. As a result, polymRNA is formed. As a result, there is translation of this mRNA, and three enzymes are. So remember, the structural gene has to be expressed to mRNA and finally translated to these three enzymes, the operator site should be empty. That is, repressor protein should not bind there, and CRP should be bound to cap site. Is it clear? That's how these two things you must remember. Secondly, when is this structural gene not expressed? It is silenced. That is when this repressor protein goes and binds to operator site, number one, and cap site is empty. That is, CRP does not bind. If these two happens, then RNAP cannot bind to promoter site. As a result, there is no transcription. So these structural genes are not transcribed to mRNA, and in turn, which is not translated to these enzymes. Is it clear? So two things. One, if it is lac operon has to be operated or the gene expression has to take place. Two things you should remember. This repressor protein should not be bound to operator site, and cap site should have CRP. As a result, RNAP and goes and binds in promoter site and gene expression takes. Secondly, when this gene expression doesn't take place or gene silencing, that is when this repressor protein binds to operator site and cap site is empty. Then there is no transcription of the structural gene, so no proteins are formed. I hope you have understood this. Okay. Okay. So this is the diagram which shows exactly how it is taking place. So this is your structural genes, and this is your operator site. This is the promoter site. And here is our cap site, or where the CRP, see here, CRP binds. And this is LAC-I is your regulatory gene. So CRP is nothing but complex of cyclic AMP, and this green part is nothing but our catabolite activator protein or CAP protein. I repeat, catabolite activator protein or CAP protein. So now we have seen the components of lacoperon, that is regulator gene, structural gene, three sites, cap site, operator site, promoter site. So structural gene is will transcribe to form polycistronic mRNA, which can be translated to three enzymes which are required to for lactose metabolism. And then operator site where the repressor protein binds. Then promoter site where RNAP enzyme binds to initiate transcription. And cap site is the site where you can uh, cap site is a place where CRP binds, and regulatory gene is a gene which synthesizes repressor protein. Now let us see how exactly the regulation of lac-operon takes place. Till now we discussed the components of lac-operon, the function of each component. Now we will see the three types of regulation. What happens? First one is what happens to the lac-operon in presence of lactose, what happens in absence of lactose and presence of glucose. Number three, what happens if glucose and lactose are present? Yeah, the first one is presence of lactose, as in, that is, there is a positive control or positive regulation, which I had told you before. So that means there is induction of lac-operon by lactose. So remember E. coli, if E. coli usually utilizes on glucose as a source of energy. However, if there is no glucose, definitely it will start utilizing lactose as a source of energy. So when lactose is present, it is the lacoperon is induced. That means it is an inducer. So that means there is increased gene expression or gene is turned on. So now small amount of lactose is converted to its isomer allolactose. See here, allolactose. Okay. So, sorry for that interruption. So here, if you see, the lactose is an inducer. Basically, not lactose. It is converted to an isomer known as allolactose, which will bind to the repressor, which bind. Sorry, 1 minute. This allolactose binds to the repressor protein. See here, it is binding here, and it brings about the conformational change in the repressor protein, so that this repressor protein cannot bind to the operator site. Secondly, so remember, because repressor protein is conformationally changed because of binding of lactose, so this repressor protein cannot bind to operator site, number one. And here I told you there is lactose is present, but glucose is absent. Now, because glucose is absent, the adenyl cyclase enzyme is active and cyclic AMP is synthesized. So remember, the cyclic AMP levels are inversely proportional to the levels of glucose. If glucose is not there, cyclic AMP level is increased because glucose inhibits adenyl cyclase enzyme. Again, I repeat, glucose usually inhibits adenyl cyclase enzyme. As a result, cyclic AMP cannot be formed. But here in this case, there is no glucose. So cyclic AMP is formed, which can bind with CAP protein, that is catabolite activator protein, to form catabolite activator protein cyclic AMP complex, which is nothing but our CRP. So repressor protein cannot be bound to operator site and CRP binds. So as I told you in previous slide, if these two things happen, then this RNAP goes and binds to promoter site. As a result, there is initiation of transcription, and as a result, these three enzymes are synthesized. So have you noticed here, since lactose is present, which is an inducer, lac operon is induced, and because lactose is present, so it requires the enzymes required to metabolize it. So that is why lac operon is induced. Coming to the second one, absence of lactose and presence of glucose. What happens? So here, if there is absence of lactose, the lac operon is repressed. That means there is no gene expression and there is gene silencing. So because lactose is absent, cell does not have, there is no need for a cell to produce the enzymes required for lactose metabolism. So repressor protein goes and binds to operator site, number one. And since there is presence of glucose, I told you the inhibitory effect of glucose is called as catabolite repression. Students, please remember, the inhibitory effect of glucose is called as catabolite repression. So they can give an indirect question like, how is lac operon operating in presence of what is catabolite repression? How lac operon operates? So the inhibitory effect of glucose is catabolite repression. That is, I told you, if glucose is present, it inhibits adenyl cyclase enzyme. As a result, the cyclic AMP synthesis comes down. So this cyclic AMP cannot bind to CAP. So there is no CRP. So since there is no CRP, RNA polymerase cannot bind to promoter site. As a result, there is no transcription. So there is no transcription of these genes and no product is formed. Can you see here? So remember, so two things. Repressor protein goes and binds to operator site, and in cap site, CRP is not bound. So operator site has repressor protein, cap site is empty. So these two are taking place. There is no expression of gene. Now, third and last one, what happens when glucose and lactose is present? In this case, the lac operon is uninduced. I repeat, in this case, it is uninduced and the transcription is negligible. Even though the lactose is present in high concentration, even though it is present in high concentration, but at the same time, adenyl cyclase is also inhibited because of presence of glucose. So no CRP is formed and the cap site remains empty. So because of presence of glucose, cap site remains empty, and because of presence of lactose, repressor protein is not bound to operator because lactose is an inducer which will inhibit the binding of repressor to operator site. So what happens because of this two? RNAP cannot bind effectively to promoter site to initiate transcription. So as a result, the structural gene is expressed very minimally or basal level. So that is why very little mRNA is formed. So very little gene expression takes place. So now there are three types. So in presence of lactose, gene is lac operon is expressed or it is maximally induced. In absence of lactose, lactoperon is repressed. In presence of glucose and lactose, lactoperon is uninduced and transcription is negligible. So these are the three types. So students, today we have discussed about regulation of prokaryotes. I just repeat what all I discussed, then I will go to regulation of eukaryotes. Few slides will complete, then I stop. So in regulation of prokaryotes, we read about what is gene expression. So gene expression is nothing but synthesis of protein under the influence of gene. That is gene expression end product is protein, number one. Then we also studied what are the significance of gene expression. That is, it helps in adaptation of an organism, metabolic function, growth and development, and tissue differentiation. Then we studied the types of genes, that is constitutive genes and inducible genes. So constitutive genes are expressed all the time, whereas inducible genes are expressed only when it is required. Then we studied the types of regulation, that is positive regulation and negative regulation. Positive regulation as in gene expression is increased, negative regulation as in gene expression is come down. And also we studied the type of responses. Type A response is seen only in presence of a signal. Type B, even in presence of a signal, the response is transient. And type C, the response persists even after termination of the signal. Then we studied the lactoperon components. What are those components and functions? That is lactoperon, regulatory gene is the one which synthesizes repressor protein and regulates the whole lactoperon. Then cap site where CRP binds. Then operator site where our repressor protein binds, and promoter site where RNAP binds. And structural gene is the one where these genes are located to transcribe those three enzymes. So there are three types we have studied. What happens in presence of lactose? So lactose, if it is present, gene expression takes place maximally and it is induced. If it is absence of lactose, then gene expression doesn't take place. It is repressed. And in presence of lactose and glucose, again, the lactoperon is uninduced and transcription is negligible. So these are the assignment questions. What is gene expression? Write two important regulation of gene importance, that is significance of gene expression. Then second question is draw a neat label diagram of lactoperon. Mention the role of each component. That means you draw a diagram, write the each component and its function. As I have showed you, you can write in a tabular column. Then coming to explain the mechanism of induction of gene expression, giving example of lactoperon. As in which one you will write? That is in presence of lactose, what happens? I told you in presence of lactose, there is induction of gene expression. Then last question is what is cistron and what is polycistronic mRNA, right? So this completes gene expression in prokaryotes. I hope you guys have understood. If you have any doubts, you can WhatsApp me or you can call me. I will clear your doubts. So just please, students, just hold on for a few seconds. Expression in eukaryotes. Um, Students, now this is the regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes. The reason I'm continuing is now at least you'll have a rough idea of what is the difference between regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So few slides I will continue and then I'll stop. Again, the speculating objectives. Enumerate at least 4 types of gene regulation in eukaryotes. Explain briefly the role of transcriptional activators and co-regulators, which they would have, madam would have told you during transcription. Then explain gene amplification mechanism in regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes. Then illustrate gene rearrangement mechanism in antibody synthesis. Then briefly discuss regulation of gene at RNA level and explain gene silencing by RNA interference in regulation of gene expression, which I'll be telling you one by one. Again, we can't abruptly start. Definitely, we should know the what you call the definition of gene expression. So the synthesis of protein under the influence of gene is called as gene expression. That means the end product of gene expression is our nothing but see here. The end products of gene expression is protein. Here I have put this arrow here. That means gene expression is regulated at various levels. Where in eukaryotes, I told you in prokaryotes it is regulated at transcription level, whereas in eukaryotes it is expressed in various levels. So it is pretty complicated when it comes to expression of gene in eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, I'll be telling the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryote gene. So let me tell you in detail. So this is how the diagram of a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So let us see one by one. This gene expression in eukaryotes is pretty complicated. It is not so simple as we have seen in prokaryotes because you have a lac operon, you understand how exactly it's operating. Here, there is no such concept. So this gene regulation, as I told, it's complex. Why? There are many reasons why we say gene expression in eukaryotes is complex. That is because the first being, the genome of eukaryotes is pretty huge. That is, if you see in E. coli genome, it is a single circular chromosomes, which is the size of 4.6 MB, and it encodes around 2000 proteins around, let's say. But compared to our genome, which contains 23 pairs of chromosomes and the size varies from 50 to 250 MB. So we have approximately around 25,000 genes which can encode more than a lakh of protein. And it is very difficult for a DNA binding protein to recognize this unique site, right? So first difference being genome. So eukaryotes, the genome is large, whereas compared to prokaryotes, number one. Secondly, major chunk of the genome is expressed in but in eukaryotes, as I have told you, only hardly 1.5 to 2% of it is expressed as it is converted to protein. Coming to a different cell type, which I have already told you, the organisms have a different cells, but the cells differ in morphology, function, or structure, but they have the same gene. Why this difference in the structure or function? It is due to difference in gene expression, which I have already given the example. So liver cell and pancreas cell, they have the structure, function, everything is different, but but the genes they contain is the same. For example, insulin, which I've already told you, insulin gene is present in pancreas as well as liver, but it is secreted only in pancreas because the insulin gene is expressed in pancreas, whereas it is repressed in other cells. So the difference, though the cells differ in their morphology and everything, difference is due to the difference in gene expression, and also the function of each cell is different because of the expression of the gene different. That is by altering the gene expression. I hope you've understood. So these cells differ in morphology and characteristics, but they contain exactly the same DNA in all the cells, but the different properties of the cells is due to the difference in gene expression. And as I had told you, in prokaryotes, there is lack of operon concept, whereas in eukaryotes there is no such concept. That is why it's all the more pretty complex. Coming to chromatin structure, which you would have already studied in earlier classes, you know what is chromatin. That is, DNA is wound around a basic protein known as histone to call, which is called as, the DNA wound around a basic protein to form a protein DNA complex, which is known as chromatin. And what is a nucleosome? It is nothing but a structural unit of chromatin. That is, packing and ordering of the DNA into a structural unit is nothing but a nucleosome. And nucleosome is very important in it contributes in gene regulatory mechanism. I will tell you shortly how. So this nucleosome under the electron microscope looks like a bead in a string. And histones, you have already known, there are 5 types of histones. The 5 histones, that is H2A, B, 3, 4, and H1 is also there. So this here you can see that this is a DNA found around our basic protein. See this basic protein, and this each unit, this is the nucleosome. This one unit, structural unit of the chromatin is a nucleosome, and which definitely plays a very important role in regulation of gene expression. You will understand I take one by one the level of gene expression. The next one being the difference is there is in prokaryotes, the transcription and translation are coupled. And the primary transcript you have already seen in polycistronic acid. It can be translated to more than one protein. Coming to eukaryotes, the transcription and translations are uncoupled. That means they are different. They express one after the other. And here, the primary transcript of the mRNA, which is formed, is monocistronic mRNA, which produces a single protein. That is one more difference. So I put the difference in tabular column. So first one being genome, which is the prokaryotic genome is smaller compared to our eukaryotic genome, which is larger. Then expression of the genome, I told you in prokaryotes, most of it is expressed, whereas only 1.5 to 2% of the genome is expressed in eukaryotes. That means 1.5 to 2% is forming proteins. Then this is it is more specific in eukaryotes compared to prokaryotes. And transcription and translation process is coupled in prokaryotes, whereas it's uncoupled in eukaryotes. And the primary transcript of prokaryotes is nothing but our polycistronic mRNA. That means it can be translated to many proteins. And the primary transcript of eukaryote is monocistronic mRNA, as it can give us only one protein. So gene expression, we have an operon concept in prokaryotes, whereas there is no such operon concept in eukaryotes. So what are the differences? Genome is large. Secondly, it's highly specific in eukaryotes. And transcription translation process are coupled in prokaryotes, uncoupled in eukaryotes. Then primary transcript of prokaryotes is monocistronic and eukaryotes is polycistronic. Monocistronic in eukaryotes and polycistronic in prokaryotes. So remember PP. So polycistronic in prokaryotes. And gene regulation is explained in operon concept in prokaryotes, and eukaryotes, it's not at all operon. It is totally complicated, and in different, it is multiple levels. As you can see, I have written here, right from the chromatin stage to transcription, post-transcription, translation, and post-translation level. So every level, it is regulated. That's why I kept on telling you it is pretty complex. So synthesis of protein is controlled right from chromatin, as I told you just now. Yeah, it is from the chromatin level to transcription level to post-transcription level to translation and post-translation level. So I'll just tell you how, and then I will tell in each one. So chromatin modeling, the synthesis of protein is controlled right from the chromatin stage. That is by how it is controlled. It is by something known as epigenetic modifications, which include DNA methylation and covalent modification of histones. Don't get worried. I will explain what exactly these two do to the chromatin structure and how it regulates the gene regulation. That is the first stage. Second stage is at transcription level. It includes the interaction of DNA sequences like enhances repressor hormone responsive elements with regulatory molecules. That is interaction of enhancers and repressors with transcription protein, hormone responsive elements with hormones, and also certain regulatory proteins have these special motifs, how they regulate. Then under transcription, apart from these enhancers, repressors, we have gene amplification, gene rearrangement, gene switching. Don't look worried. It is very simple. What is amplification, what is gene rearrangement, and switching, I will tell you. So all this occurs in transcription level. Coming to post-transcription level, mRNA, that is mRNA is formed after RNA processing. Under that, if you have alternative splicing, polyadenylation, then we have mRNA editing. Then then we have mRNA stability. Under that, we have regulation of ion metabolism and gene silencing process by RNA. So we have under post-transcription level, mRNA processing, mRNA editing, mRNA stability. So remember everything about mRNA. So there is one specific learning objective. Explain the gene regulation at RNA level means you have to write this. Then there is translation level that includes covalent modification, and there is post-translational level that is activation, inactivation of protein by chemical modifications. So tomorrow I will explain exactly how regulation of eukaryotes takes place. So today we have completed regulation of gene expression in prokaryotes, everything, what is gene expression, what are the three types of response, A, B, C, two types of genes constitute inducible gene, then two types of regulation, positive regulated and negative regulation, then lac operon concept, their components, their function, and three types of regulation, that is presence of lactose, absence of lactose, presence of both. And also we started the regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes. So we have seen what are the differences of differences between eukaryote gene expression and prokaryotes. That is a difference in genome, difference in transcription translation, then about operon concept, and also that what type of mRNA is formed. And we have also seen what are the different levels of regulation, which we will discuss in detail next class. Thank you, students. Stay safe. Students, if you have any doubt, you can message me in WhatsApp or you can call me. No, thank you so much.